I think this system is good. We are expecting people from the bottom upward.
President Buhari inaugurates federal and state landmark projects in Kano. Vice President Osinbajo harps on importance of cashless economy policy towards curbing illicit election financing.
Can assure the Nigerian people that will be a free and fair elections.
2023 elections, EU, ECOWAS Parliament lend support for credible outcome. This is NTA Network News reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Michael Olaleye is presenting from Lagos. Remember to follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live. NTA News Now and all our other social media platforms displayed on the screen. We begin with news from Kano State as state-of-the-art legacy projects executed by the federal government in the areas of power supply, transportation, as well as information and communications technology have been inaugurated in Kano towards enhancing the nation's socio-economic development. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony during a one-day official visit to the Center of Commerce. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Among the projects inaugurated was the 10 megawatts Kano solar power plant jointly owned by the federal and Kano state governments as well as Kumboso local government council. Situated on a 24-hectare parcel of land, the project, which has more than 21,000 solar panels, 52 inverters and 6 megawatts transformers, is so far the largest grid-connected solar PV plant in the country. President Buhari was informed that apart from catalyzing growth in the power sector, the renewable project also builds Nigeria's credentials in the fight against climate change and the commitment to attaining the net zero carbon emissions by 2060.
This project by the Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Investment Authority, NSIA, is a clear demonstration that the country is doing the right things and walking the talk in our decarbonization commitment.
President Buhari also inaugurated the Dala Inland Dry Port Zawachiki. This critical transport infrastructure, the Transportation Minister Muazu Jaji Sambo says, is one of the 6 established in the country to decongest the seaports while taking shipment and port services closer to importers and exporters in the hinterland. Kano in particular as the commercial capital of northern Nigeria with huge agricultural trade in both local and export volumes as well as numerous industrial concerns across various sectors of the economy is not only suited but most qualified for the infrastructure project.
Your Excellency Mr. President, generations to come will remember the exemplary leadership that you have provided in these and other areas.
Also inaugurated by the President is a National Tier 4 Data Center and Northwest Regional Office, Kano, of the Galaxy Backbone. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, told the President that a center with over 99% reliability is one of the worthy legacies of the Buhari presidency in the digital economy sector.
From 2015 to 2023, we have executed and implemented projects and programs around 155 within Kano State, and we have similar interventions in other states all over the country.
The President also declared open the more than 460 units Darmanawa Royal City, Kano. It is a social housing initiative of the federal government executed through the Family Homes Fund to provide affordable houses to those in need.
We have successfully funded the development of over 16,000 houses and by so doing created up to about 75,000 direct and indirect jobs.
Meanwhile, the palace of the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, came alive as President Muhammadu Buhari paid homage on the highly revered monarch.
I think this system is good. It's good in the sense that our traditional institutions are respected and are honored. It's very important that if we have understood the politics, we are expecting people from the bottom upward. common sense, because the people matter.
The Emir applauded the president for enhanced federal presence in critical sectors of the Kano state economy, saying posterity will be kind to the Nigerian leader. He also appreciated the president for extending the deadline for the cash swap program, describing him as a leader who listens and responds appropriately to the plight of the less privileged.
Da shugaba mai sauraron al'ummarsa ne da kuma yin kokarin kawo masu sauki a rayuwarsu.
Before leaving the palace, President Buhari inaugurated the Emir's new council chambers called Soron Ingla. From Kano, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
When effectively operated, a cashless policy in Nigeria can help stem the surge of illicit election financing by making it possible to track funds, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is equally encouraging the provision of more infrastructure useful for financial inclusion. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Welcoming a delegation of the European Union Election Observation Mission to the country, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo observed that so much money could be spent without it being tracked under the current election financing practices. On the issue of the electoral offences, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo noted that there is the Electoral Offences Commission Bill at the National Assembly, hoping that it will begin a new regime of dealing with electoral offences. He emphasized that the law enforcement agencies should be responsible for arresting and prosecuting offenders state by state, explaining that though electoral offences are always seen through a political prism, what is more important is that the country finds a system where the police could have a special unit for offences during the course of elections. The Federal High Court, he observed, could also have a special jurisdiction to deal with offences and not extend beyond the Federal High Courts. On the role of the judicial system, the Vice President noted that more attention should be paid to the monitoring of tribunals and their outcomes, calling for more scrutiny from the National Judicial Council. Leader of the delegation, Barry Andrews, said that the observer mission would be monitoring the elections coming up next month and hope for a peaceful and fair electoral process. At the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, has given assurance that some ongoing critical infrastructure projects will be fully completed before the expiration of the present administration. This was while presenting his administration's landmark achievements during the PMB Scorecard series in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu was there and now reports.
Given his administration stewardship in the last 7.5 years, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello reiterates the commitments of his administration to completing all inherited projects. These include roads, bridges, water projects on various appreciable stages of completion, while some have been completed, giving a healthy experience for motorists and other road users. The rehabilitation of the United Nations building bombed in 2011 is another landmark achievement that was commended, while the construction of the 75-kilometer Ushafa-Gurara route by the FCT administration has improved land value in Buari Area Council.
Most of you will recall in 2015, for you to get into the city from the airport of Longwagolada, you needed to meander through a number of uncompleted bridges. Well, you know that we completed all these bridges.
The Abuja Light Rail project is one of the legacy projects that is receiving topmost attention of the administration that will ensure eco-friendly transport system, as the solar-powered streetlight initiative was adopted because of its advantages. He assured that some of the ongoing critical infrastructure projects will be completed and put to public use before the expiration of the present administration, as Abuja remains work in progress. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The federal government has declared that legal action taken against any Nigerian who undermines the nation's democracy is right and justified. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this during the 20th edition of the ongoing PMB Scorecard series in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
I'm sure we are all interested in hearing about the giant strike
The Information and Culture Minister's reaction is in response to the United States' decision to slam a visa ban on Nigerians believed to be responsible for or implicated in undermining democracy in the country.
Whatever action is taken against anyone who undermines this democracy that has been watered by the blood of many of our patriots is right and justified. For us as a government, we are proud to say that no administration since Nigeria's return to democratic rule in 1999 has shown more fidelity to the democratic process than ours.
Making the point that President Muhammad Buhari has left no one in doubt of his determination to ensure free, fair and credible election and handover to his successor, he will return to his country home, Daura.
The President has also given unprecedented support to INEC, while also signing into law the Electoral Bill 2022 that Nigerians have hailed as a reason to have confidence in the electoral process.
He reminded the gathering of the federal government's resolve to ensure the election holds against naysayer speculations.
On January 10th, 2023, to inquiries from the media over a widely circulated report credited to an INEC official that the 2023 general elections face a serious threat of cancellation due to insecurity. We said, and I quote, "The position of the federal government remains that the 2023 elections will be held as planned. Nothing has happened to change that position."
Lai Mohammed maintained that the scorecard series is a testimony of the President Muhammad Buhari's administration success story.
What we are doing here today, as part of our scorecard series, is another indication of our administration's determination to leave office on May 29, 2023. With our honorable ministers telling Nigerians what we have done since assuming office in 2015, we are in essence presenting our handover notes to those who elected us as an administration as we prepare to leave in
Abuja. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
We'll take some messages now. Stay tuned for more reports.
The 21st edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adenia Debayo. Date Tuesday, 31st January 2023. Time 10:30 a.m. Venue National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be broadcast live by NTA, FRCN and VON and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Every day, life presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
This is to invite the general public to the commissioning of Malam Alu Agro Allied Company Limited and unveiling of the tallest flagpole in Nigeria. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Host Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu, Chairman, Malam Alu Agro Allied Company Limited. Date 31st January 2023. Venue Brinding Kudu, Jigawa State. Time 12 p.m. prompt. Announcer Mansour Dao Aliyu. Group General Manager, Malam Alu Agro Allied Company Limited.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
Just a moment. The refrigerator. Hello? Sunday! Sunday!
Yes, my guy.
Come. 1,000 naira. Buy me Airtel recharge card. You have what I said. Thank you. Yeah. Hey! Oh. Sunday don't finish me. I say 1,000 naira recharge card. You carry 8,000 naira of my money. Go load them. Because money there your hand, Abi.
Oga, no. As I load the 1,000 naira, I use Airtel over Jara, turn them to 8,000 naira, just like that.
8 times the value of any recharge, plus double data and 1,000 naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Sunday, go buy us. Okay. And make sure say they put over Jara for you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
When malaria won't show power for your side, it gon' knock you down. I'm a temp salt gel. Me I can tell you no say malaria medicine when no get bad taste. Oh my God! Mouth and it get easy to swallow. I got red game changer. I'm a temp salt gel.
Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, through the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Fantami, cordially invites the general public to the inaugural edition of the Digital Economy Regional Conference, DERC, a pioneering effort aimed at bringing together all 15 West African countries that make up the ECOWAS sub-region to discuss and showcase their efforts towards the development of digital economies in the sub-region. The conference will hold from Tuesday, 31st of January to Wednesday, 1st of February, 2023. At the Congress Hall of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Time 9 a.m. Attendance is strictly by invitation. The general public can join the rich conversation via the live coverage of the event on the Nigerian Television Network and Zoom link available on the event website www.digitalregionalconference.org. Announcer Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FCIIS, FNCS, FBCS, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy.
Thanks for staying tuned. All is now set for the inaugural edition of the Digital Economy Regional Conference, aimed at bringing all 15 West African member countries of the ECOWAS sub-region to discuss and showcase efforts at developing digital economies in the sub-region. The conference, which is being organized by the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, led by the Minister, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, will hold on Tuesday, 31st January 2023 at Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja at 9 o'clock in the morning. Attendance is strictly by invitation, while the public is advised to join the conversation via the Nigerian Television Authority and the Zoom link available on the event's website. 100 youths selected from the 27 local government areas of Borno State are undergoing a 5-day training in skill empowerment, courtesy the federal government. The training, organized by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, in collaboration with Borno State government, is targeting skills modernization and equipping youth in the area of vulcanization. Umaru Kirawa reports that 500 units of modern smokeless stoves were also distributed to vulnerable women to combat climate change.
Reviving technical, engineering, science, education and youth engagements, particularly among victims of the insurgency, are the targets of NASENI towards poverty alleviation and restoration of socio-economic activities. Borno State Ministry for Higher Education, Science, Technology and Innovation is the supporting partner in the actualization of the NASENI objective.
I appreciate Muhammadu Buhari and Professor Zulum for all of their effort.
Aside the intensive training, the provision of the state-of-the-art equipment, tools and other vulcanizing kits worth millions of naira to the selected 100 youths in Borno are targeted at creating more employment opportunities for them.
We have to appreciate His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief for this intervention.
Chief Executive Officer Naseni, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, appreciated Borno State government for establishing technical and vocational centers.
In order to restore the infrastructural facilities that is damaged in this state and to build new ones for progress, it is necessary to do what Mr. President has done.
Representative of Borno State government, the acting head of service, Malam Fanami, said the intervention will better the lot of the people who lost livelihoods as a result of the insurgency in the northeast.
Mr. President has always given us all the necessary support that we need.
Government officials and experts put forth words of encouragement and urged the participants not to sell the items provided and be productive members of the society. In Maiduguri, Omori Kirawa, NTA News.
The federal government will deploy point-of-sales agents for cash transfers during the National Social Safety Net Program scale-up. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said this while hosting the Executive Director, Angola, Nigeria, South Africa constituency of the World Bank Group in Abuja. The program will cost $800 million and will take off in 2023.
Working on having all of the database that is required. So there's the rapid response register that has been set up and is being expanded. There's also a pipeline of agents network that are being put in place, working with the banking system and other financial services, so that on the approval of the National Assembly, we'll be able to quickly start deploying the funds that will be disbursed by the bank.
Well, there are quite a number of projects that are in the pipeline from the government side that are being funded by the World Bank. In my next visit, I will have a visit in the bigger sites where the projects are much bigger than what I have seen in the last few days that I was here. But there is a lot of work that still needs to be done on things like food security, like ensuring that there is access to electricity for citizens. And I think this is just the global African problem where almost 600 million people in the continent have no access to electricity. And electricity always is a catalyst for economic growth and development.
The National Social Safety Net Program scale-up is to be implemented by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Now, tension is high a day after President Muhammadu Buhari approved a 10-day cash swap extension of the redesigned Naira note. What difference will the extension make in beating the deadline? Bosede Abel, who has been monitoring this development, reports that most ATMs in Abuja city are out of cash. Bose, it's over to you.
One will think the zeal and efforts residents made to beat the January 31st deadline will be the same after the extension. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, as most of the once busy ATM terminals are now free due to lack of cash.
Well, me, the way I look at it is that the banks want to sabotage the government. All the banks, they are not dispensing the money, all.
In fact, I went to 4 banks on this service. None is paying.
Unfortunately, the money will come out and reverse back.
When I came here, though they say it was paying, but I've not seen somebody coming out with money.
The extension, actually it has dashed the hope of some people. They're still waiting, still counting the days.
I pray so that it will be achievable. But with the situation on ground today,
if government are ready of this extension, they have to stop giving old note inside the bank so that the new note is going to circulate.
They should release money. Let's collect money for both in the counter and the ATM. Simple.
While some residents believe there is time enough to meet the targeted dates, others noted it would amount to a waste of time if the new notes are not readily available. In Abuja, Bosede Ebo, NTA News.
Thank you, Bosedi. Meanwhile, Nigerians have continued to react to the cash swap extension, with the new deadline being February 10, 2023. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi reports that residents of Bauchi have described it as a welcome development which will enable rural dwellers exchange their old notes for new.
Now they will even
get an awareness that they have exceeded to 10 days, which is I think of 10th of February, so that they can even have a time on their own to see how they can bring it, so that they can able time to change it. So for me, it's a development, quite development.
For us, it's another development because they are closing it on 31st. They have had another 10 days. For us, it's another development. But still, please let the government of Nigeria do something about this thing because plenty people are suffering. Most of us are poor.
Sapkwato, Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that a cross-section of Nigerians have mixed reactions.
And mostly they didn't deposit their money in the banks. So you can see us here. Everybody has something to do. But we will rest here for some time. We will never withdraw a money up to now.
Withdrawal limit is 20,000 and maybe you want like 100,000. That means you will be coming here every day with that.
They refuse to give us new money. They refuse to give us old money. The situation is pathetic.
From 50-50 naira that they give us, the one people are not collecting it and it's no good.
Meanwhile, our correspondent in Abeokuta, Kemi Sikiru, reports that Nigerians are calling on the Central Bank of Nigeria to inject more money into circulation to ease monetary transactions. The Department of State Services has intercepted some members of an organized syndicate involved in the sale of the redesigned Naira notes. A statement by spokesperson of the service, Dr. Peter Afunanya, indicates that DSS operatives in the course of operations in some parts of the country established that some commercial bank officials are aiding the economic malfeasance. Consequently, the service warns currency racketeers to desist from this act while urging appropriate regulatory authorities to step up monitoring and supervisory activities to address emerging trends. DSS commands and formations have also been directed to ensure that all persons and groups engaging in the illegal sale of new notes are arrested and prosecuted. Now, the Buhari Media Organization says the present administration has done more to make states economically viable than any previous administration. The media group, in a statement signed by Chairman Ni Akinsiju, says all 36 states have enjoyed federal government interventions running into 6.5 trillion naira in the last 7 years. This, BMO says, includes budget support facilities packaged like soft loans to be prepaid over 30 years and the recent 13% derivation refund to oil-producing states. Now, Michael is standing by in Lagos for more updates.
Thank you, Najatu. A larger percentage of Lagos residents are taking advantage of the extension of deadline on the redesigned Naira notes to deposit cash in their possession. Abolade Salami reports that ATM points and banks recorded high turnout of customers.
The 10-day extension window announced by the federal government has been described as an avenue that will support further spread of the redesigned notes to areas where commercial banks or automated teller machines cannot be easily accessed. As Nigerians try to take advantage of the extension period, banks and ATM points are at the receiving end as customers besiege these payment points to make either withdrawal or deposits.
I went inside the banking hall. I was chatting for the manager and everything. They were begging me. They put money for ATM now. They put money. I stayed there for more than 1 hour. I'm just coming from there. No money.
They say we should wait, that they are still going to load it, but there is no money inside the ATM.
How long have you been there?
But let's say for 1 hour.
While the shift in date has continued to attract reactions, prominent of them all is the unanimous call on the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure deposit money banks comply with the directive of making the redesigned Naira notes available to customers.
At least you can see the banks queue everywhere here and there. So if they should work like from now till on the 10th of February and they are working weekends too, I think the money Naira notes will be able to circulate.
With the extension, we afford them the opportunity to, their old Naira notes or what the government is doing. I'm in support of it.
It is the belief of the public that with the sustained efforts demonstrated by residents, the agitation for extension will be minimal at the expiration of the new deadline. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
For the foundation of mentoring in the army to work stronger, impeccable league recruitment in the military remains the veritable platform to promote mentorship in the army. This is the summation of the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Obinna Juma, in his lecture at the inauguration of new set of students officers of the Army College of Logistics. Let's join Larry Bilei for details.
Unveiling the new name of the Army Logistic College from Nigeria Army College of Logistics, NACO, to Nigeria Army College of Logistics and Management, NACOM, by the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Nigeria Army, Major General Obinna Ajunwa, started off proceedings at the inauguration ceremony. The inauguration ceremony of students of senior leadership and staff officers course 1 2023 as well as logistics staff course 2023. The inaugural lecture delivered by the GOC analyzes the importance of mentorship in the army, describing it as an essential component in imbibing leadership qualities in officers and inspiring high performance in the military.
Is a standard format that mentoring is a military thing, and introducing it as a model in this college and other colleges in the Nigerian Army is not a misplaced priority. It's something that has always been done, but we're now taking it to higher level.
With logistics planning a prerequisite for successful military operations, the focus of the college is to train officers on skills required in operating environment through logistics aspects of planning, management, as well as operational heart and statistics. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news will be back shortly. Please stay.
Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission cordially invites the relevant stakeholders to a one-day zonal public hearing on the review of the remuneration package for the political, public and judicial office holders, slated to hold simultaneously in the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation as follows. Dates: 1st February 2023. Venue: Northwest, African House, Government House, Kano State. South-South, Banquet Hall, Government House, Yenagwa, Bayelsa State. Southeast, Nike Lake Resort, Enugu State. North Central, Victoria Hall, New Government House, Little Refuge, Jos Plateau State. Northeast, Command Guest House, Kano Road, Bauchi State. Southwest, Adebemile Hall, Obade Shida Road, Akure, Ondo State. Time: 9 a.m. prompt. Announcer: Mohammed Bello Shehu, Chairman.
Aruna, Vicky, Akman, Uzuka, how will I want to do on election day? On election day, I go take my PVC. When I retire, I vote to. I broom and go put my hand over Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I retire, I vote to. I broom and go put my hand over Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC. The party wey show broom. No forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I retire, they vote to. I go put my hand over Tinubu. I dey look for pension fund administrator. We soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy, no be the type when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you know everything good for you, then make you choose premium pension today. to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Entire staff of the Industrial Training Fund ITF congratulate our Amiable Director General and the Chief Executive Sir Joseph N. Ari, KSM KSS, on the Public Service Person of the Year award by the leadership newspapers. The award is truly deserved considering your hard work, dedication and passion for excellence that have transformed the fund into a leading human capacity development organization of global repute. As a transformational leader, we are assured that this award, as several others you have bagged, will spur you into greater levels of achievement. Congratulations, sir. Announcer Suleyo Fred Chago, Director, Public Affairs Department. The management and entire staff of the Industrial Training Fund ITF congratulate our Amiable Director General and the Chief Executive Sir Joseph N. Ari, KSM KSS, on the Public Service Person of the Year award by the leadership newspapers. The award is truly deserved considering your hard work, dedication and passion for excellence that have transformed the fund into a leading human capacity development organization of global repute. As a transformational leader, we are assured that this award, as several others you have bagged, will spur you into greater levels of achievement. Congratulations, sir. Announcer Suleyo Fred Chago, Director, Public Affairs Department.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with Germ Defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
The three-layered ultra-modern flyover interchange executed by the Ganduje administration to enhance the beauty of Kano City, among other improvements, has been formally declared open for use by the motoring public. The critical infrastructure, named after President Muhammadu Buhari, is one of the several state government projects inaugurated by the Nigerian leader during his official visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
First of its kind in Nigeria, the three-layered flyover and interchange could best be described as an infrastructural development masterpiece, integrated with Arewa traditional impressions to instill the love of Kano in the hearts of the people. The magnificent edifice has two independent underpasses and two dual carriageways linking Wudil to Eastern Bypass as well as Hotoro to Ring Road, easing the flow of traffic and providing access for both freight and other road users. President Muhammadu Buhari also declared open the new Kano State Data Center at the Audubako Secretariat. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje described the project as a giant leap towards the transformation of Kano digital economy. Another state government project inaugurated is the Professor Habzat Ganduje Cancer Treatment Center. The health facility, fully equipped with state-of-the-art medical equipment, including 3 major radiotherapy machines capable of treating 150 cancer patients daily, is aimed at not only providing services for those in need, but also reducing medical tourism abroad.
I thank you very much for your foresight and for the infrastructure you are putting to make not only medical tourism but other tourism are necessary.
President Buhari also inaugurated the Aliko Dangote Ultra-Modern Skills Acquisition Center along Zaria Road. 20 different types of skills are being taught and acquired by the people of Kano towards enhancing self-reliance. These include computer engineering, automotive mechanics and electronics, plumbing and pipe works, as well as various aspects of renewable energy.
Your Excellency, you are making Kano not only the commercial nerve center of the northern part of this country, but also the commercial nerve center of some West African countries.
At the state luncheon organized in his honor, President Muhammadu Buhari described as impressive what the Ganduje administration has been able to achieve silently in terms of development in critical sectors of the economy within available resources.
We have done very well in infrastructure. The amount of developments on the ground, they are fantastic. We thank God.
President Buhari used the opportunity to make a strong case for state governments to pay more attention to the education of the young ones for a sustainable future of the country. From Kano, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now to electoral matters. Considered the big brother, Nigeria is West Africa's largest democracy. And as the country goes to the polls, the ECOWAS is determined to support Nigeria to achieve successful transition. Onengie Fineface reports.
Nigeria has been instrumental in promoting good governance and democracy in Africa, especially the West African sub-region. Conduct of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria is therefore tops on the agenda as ECOWAS Parliament holds its first extraordinary session in Bissau.
I can assure everybody, I can assure the Nigerian people that the management of the ECOWAS Commission and all other stakeholders in ECOWAS have been working tirelessly to ensure that there is peace. First of all, there is peace in Nigeria. Number two, there will be a free and fair elections.
As the nation goes into the conduct of the polls, Parliament expects Nigeria to walk the talk by sustaining its standard in the conduct of general elections.
A credible election in Nigeria means a credible election in the sub-region, because a lot of the countries, if not all of the countries, are seeing Nigeria as an example, and we expect that Nigeria will rise up to the occasion.
We are all looking at what is happening in Nigeria, and we hope that we come out very peaceful, transparent, and democratic. That will send a very big signal to all the other countries in the sub-region, especially for countries that are still under military rule.
Parliament is working together with the ECOWAS Commission to closely observe the election across Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the European Union Observer Mission in Nigeria's 2023 general election has deployed a 40-man long-term team to support Nigeria in any way possible to achieve a credible 2023 general election. Hamman Jabani reports that another team will be added for a short-term exercise towards the success of the polls.
The European Union Election Observer Mission, which is in Nigeria for the 7th time, is to provide a comprehensive, independent and impartial assessment of the electoral process based on international and regional standards for democratic elections. The EU Chief Observer to Nigeria, Barry Andrews, said the mission is committed to work together to consolidate democracy in the country, and this election will be crucial for the stability of the region.
We will, of course, be examining the implementation of the Electoral Act and all of the changes that have taken place and all the challenges that are peculiar to Nigeria. Each electoral environment has its own characteristics, and we are cognizant of all of those characteristics that apply across Nigeria. There are concerns naturally relating to the new technology, relating to the full implementation of the Electoral Act, to the work of INEC, to how the judiciary will look at the various questions that are put to them in relation to electoral challenges, and this is the environment in which we will rely on our long-term observers.
In line with the EU election observation methodology, the mission will issue preliminary statements after the election day. The final report, which will include a set of recommendations for further electoral processes, will be presented after the finalization of the entire electoral process. The EU Observer Mission will remain in the country until the completion of the 2023 electoral process. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has received a delegation from the European Union Election Observer mission in Nigeria at his residence in Abuja. The EU delegation, which was led by Chief Observer in Nigeria, Barry Andrews, is observing the electoral process, the legal framework and its implementation, as well as the performance of the election administration, among other objectives. The APC presidential candidate, in his reaction after the closed-door meeting, described it as robust.
The meeting was very good. It's enlightening, and it reflects a true commitment to democracy and peaceful election in the country, and that is what we're standing for. We will, definitely adhere to the rule of the game.
Well, we asked him questions about the challenges that are faced by all parties here in Nigeria with the evolution of the technology, ensuring the safety and access to polling stations. We exchanged a confidential conversation about all of that, but clearly these are the issues that are faced by everybody that has an interest in the future of Nigerian democracy. Thank you very much.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has commended INEC for extending the deadline for collection of PVCs. This and other issues formed the talking point during his meeting with a delegation from the European Union Election Observation Mission. Ekene Ntulue reports.
The mission has been in Nigeria since January 11, observing political events as Nigerians gear up for the February elections. Their visit to the Labour Party campaign office is to discuss issues of concern to the presidential candidate. Top on the issues were collection of PVCs, registration of underage voters, and inclusivity.
What we're doing is to try to develop a picture of the transparency, inclusivity and credibility of the election, and we will report that 2 days after the election in a preliminary report and press conference on the 27th of February.
Mr. Peter Obi says he has confidence in the electoral umpire.
And in some areas where there's complaints, like areas like Lagos State and things that were major complaints where people feel they were being denied PVC for one reason or the other, that INEC gives you attention to it. And I must thank them for extending the collection period. I urge them to ensure that people collect their PVC. This election is very important to Nigeria. It's an essential election. We want all those who are registered to participate.
Mr. Obi also expressed hope that the authorities will give students a break to participate in the election. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
The APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has urged the electorate in Akwa Ibom State to use their decision-making power at the polls in his favor, saying he is ready to reposition the country for greater prosperity.
When the Tinubu-Shetima campaign train had a stop in Akwa Ibom State, the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium was the venue to host party stalwarts and followers. APC leaders in the state believe the turnout here is a clear indication of a direction the state electorate have decided to take in the coming elections.
This is the government of prosperity that is coming. This is the way we want to vote, and this is the way we are going. Are you ready to talk about government now?
They say their presidential candidate's record as a former governor of Lagos State is an attestation to his capacity to position Nigeria as an economic world power.
That audacious man is bringing courage and audacity to government in Nigeria. What Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you will create employment opportunity for you. We will do mechanized farming. Yes, sir. We will export food from Akwa Ibom. We will build a deep sea port.
The APC presidential candidate and his team also met with Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Council to receive their blessing. From Uyo, Musbao, and Wahab, NTA News.
And now for business news with Musa Abubakar. What's the latest, Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Let's bring you up to speed with business development. The federal government says it is steadily evolving measures and gaining appreciable traction in the deployment of skills required for employment. This is as the Industrial Training Fund, in collaboration with development partners, launched National Apprenticeship and Traineeship System with a framework that guides occupational competence, identification, selection, and admission of apprentices and trainees by employers, in addition to rights and protection in the workplace, among other guiding principles aimed at bridging the skills and employment gap.
Unemployment, while also affording the youth the opportunity to earn income while learning, enhance eligibility for financial assistance while on training, and also engage a sizable number of youths, since it does not require formal education as a prerequisite.
121 of the 338 have been placed into jobs upon graduation.
For you to cross the realm of sustainability to the realm of competitiveness, you need deep and practical skills that can help you to drive your.
And out of stocks, it's a positive start for the equities market as investors gain 277.31 billion naira. The all-share index advanced by 0.95% at 53,157.83 basis point. Market capitalization rose to 28.953 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 201.3 million units of securities valued at 5.6 billion naira in 4,332 deals. Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Holding Company, and Transcorp were the most active shares in terms of volume at the end of the session. That's it. The news continues after the break.
As an MC, I need to walk the talk. It's a walk I've walked many times. It's okay, everyone. Nothing's well. Before, these tough stains would stay on my clothes, and all the scrubbing would fade my colors. But thanks to Ariel Color Expert, nothing's well.
It lifts the toughest stains, keeping your clothes bright, wash after wash.
Jose, Ariel Color Expert. Let's get this party started.
New Ariel, 5 times color protect power.
Good morning.
Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with germ defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Clean your teeth every morning, but that fresh breath feeling just doesn't last. The answer? Easy. You keep your teeth strong and healthy and give your mouth long-lasting fresh breath with new Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste. It helps strengthen your teeth and gives you long-lasting fresh breath.
So fresh, still fresh, and still fresh.
Stay strong, stay fresh. New Oral-B toothpaste for strong teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
A peak protein breakfast gets you up to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes to his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things because all day and every day, the pig goes on.
Start your day with a Pig Protect breakfast. Pig. Reach for your pig. Uh-oh, Grace. You've got places to be, and this chump has forgotten something, but he must trust you, leaving you with his basket. Time to take matters into your own hands. Grab that papaya. Now, make a mess of it.
Bing bang ding, ding ding bang, bam bam bang, bing bang ding, bam bam.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with germ defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
With heavy hearts but total submission to the will of God, we announce the death of Chief Mrs. Esther Damishi Sango, a director of Books to Africa, Nigeria, and wife of Nigeria's former Minister of Sports, Honorable Damishi Sango. She passed on to glory peacefully in her sleep on Friday, 13th January 2023 at the age of 61. Funeral arrangements on Friday, 3rd February 2023. There will be a service of songs at the family compound at Ganawuri, Riyom local government area of Plateau State by 3 p.m. On Saturday, 4th February 2023, body of the deceased will be conveyed from the Nigerian Air Force mortuary Jos by 7:30 a.m. to Kokin LCC Danwal Ganawuri along Vomanchok Road for funeral service. Final interment will follow thereafter at the family compound. Described as a symbol of faith, love, and leadership, late Chief Mrs. Esther Sango is survived by her husband, Honorable Damishi Tonson Sango, children, and many other relatives. At day, rest with the Lord until we meet again. Signed, Ishaku M. Chuntai, JP, for the family.
That concludes the news at this hour. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Knowledge is power, the key to great achievements in economy, health, education, politics, relationships, social ethics, and even knowledge of oneself. This year, 2023, conversations will X-ray and lead us to this knowledge in a serial manner. Starting with knowledge of economy, where we must know to strengthen our personal economy. 9 a.m. is our time. Wednesday, the 1st of February 2023 is the date. Remember, ignorance never paves the way. Join us and be better informed.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, The errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels. Leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Every day in our country, senior citizens are discriminated against, disparaged, and treated with disdain by those who ought to respect them. We are all complicit in the way we have treated the elderly members of our society as institutions, families, or members of a shared society. Every time senior citizens get offered less than they deserve for the work they do because they are old, poor, and desperate, we are failing them. Senior citizen loses a child, and wow, they must be responsible for their death. Every time a senior citizen gets labeled a witch, is called mad, and shooed out of the way because they have no memory of where they were headed and look unkempt, we are failing them. We say, abeg, it all old, make it do die, make everybody for rest, to ailing parents, uncles and aunts. That's discrimination. That is neglect. When you see an old woman getting beat up and being accused of witchcraft, do not turn the other way. Stop and teach people that white hairs, wrinkles and hunchbacks are no evidence of witchcraft. Aging comes with a memory decline. Sometimes it's not out of place to have elderly people lose their way, forget details of their lives and how to properly take care of themselves. When they get to this stage, they deserve your empathy, not scorn. Our ailing fathers, mothers, aunties and uncles are deserving of quality healthcare and peaceful transition. Make their last moments memorable. Senior citizens have paid their dues. They deserve your care. Stop all forms of discrimination against them today.
Today, we're here to tell you that while we may not be there yet, our military and other security agencies have succeeded and are succeeding in substantially restoring security across the nation. As far as the daunting security challenges we face are concerned, we can tell you that the worst is over, and never again will terrorists and bandits and their cohorts hold sway in our country.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Knowledge is power, the key to great achievements in economy, health, education, politics, relationships, social ethics, and even knowledge of oneself. This year, 2023, Conversations will x-ray and lead us to this knowledge in a serial manner, starting with knowledge of economy.
It's precisely 25 days and 10 hours to the D-Day, and as the clock ticks, so does our interest peak. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Fekla Wilkie and we're reaching you live from Abuja. This is The Ballot. It's great to have you join us tonight. For the next couple of days, I will be standing in for the regular host of The Ballot, Nando Depo. And tonight, we'll be having an interesting conversation with our guest on the show. But before we get to that, let's bring the news highlights for today. By civil society organizations ensuring a seamless process before, during and after the general elections. In getting it right, European Union Observer Mission deploys support team to Nigeria on long and short-term basis ahead of the elections.
With a repository of accurate, simplified and on the electoral process to improve.
Eye on Nigeria as the 2023 general elections tops agenda at the ECOWAS first extraordinary session in Guinea-Bissau. And tonight we seek definitive answers from a political party and their chances of success at the polls. And with just a few weeks to the 2023 general elections, effective observation of the process in engendering a free, fair and credible elections has become imperative. This has inspired a roundtable conversation amongst critical stakeholders chaired by Yaga Africa. The roundtable talk also had representatives from other civil society organizations.
Concise information on the electoral process to improve turnout as well as the quality of public participation.
The APC campaign train makes a stop in Uyo as the presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu urged electorate in the state to vote in his favor, assuring the repositioning of the country for greater prosperity.
We will build a deep sea wall.
And still on the 2023 elections, the European Union Observer Mission on Nigeria's general election has deployed 40-man long-term team to support Nigeria to achieving credible elections. Provisions has also been made on a short term with addition of another team towards the society.
Those characteristics.
All eyes seem to rest on Nigeria as the country goes to the polls this month. Considering its big brother role in promoting democracy and good governance in Africa, it is no surprise that the country's election tops the agenda as ECOWAS Parliamentary holds its first extraordinary session in Guinea-Bissau.
Tirelessly to ensure that there is peace. First of all, there is peace in Nigeria. Number two, there will be a free and fair.
And now let's move on to the main business of the day, and my guest is a representative of one of the leading contenders in this year's presidential elections. She is the national chair campaign secretary for the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, and we have with us Honorable Folashade Aliu. Honorable Folashade, I warmly welcome you to the ballot.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's so good to have you. So now, without much ado, we'll just go with the questions.
Great.
Now, we've listened to your principal, that's Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, campaigning and all of that. Some keen political observers have said that his manifesto is a bit mundane and a commonplace. So the question here is, what makes him stand out? What are those key elements in your manifesto that stands him out as a contender for the 2023 #1 position?
Well, thank you so very much for that nice question. If you happen to go through our manifesto, you'll see that we are primarily people-centric. If you consider the unity of the country, you consider security, the economy, the foreign affairs, and a whole lot of things. But the thing that stands out clearly in the whole of the manifesto is that we are bringing governance to the grassroots. We have a program in our manifesto that talks about community participation and reorientation. If you want to talk about the unity of this country, for instance, you need people to be able to come together, to be able to accept and respect one another at the first instance. Then you begin to talk about issues. If you want to talk about the economy of this nation, you want people to participate at the level where they are in their domain. And what this program does is that it allows people at the grassroots to understand what's going on with governance at the center and how they can participate, how they can be part of it. For instance, we are talking about education. We're talking about the fact that we're going to build 500,000 classrooms across the nation. People will ask, how do you want to achieve that? You can do the sum of those simultaneously. Engaging the community. When you engage them in the process or processes of it, they own it. So it becomes our primary facility. And then you engage people from the community to be nurses, midwives, nurses assistants, doctors, physicians, and the rest of it. And then they feel like they own it. And we think that at this point in our journey as a nation, people are disconnected. So that's just one of it, and I will mention some other things as we go on.
On your plans for climate change, I mean, it would seem that your party's manifesto is not exactly reflecting, climate change in its entirety, given the expediency and the fact that it's a necessity, given the floods and all of the threats we have to food security and all of that. How would you respond to that? How come climate change is not well captured in your manifesto?
Well, you will understand that when you are at the point where we are as a nation at a very critical crossroad, you have to look inwards first. And we understand, the soil erosion in the southeast. We understand, the issue of the waters in the south, contamination and the rest of it. We understand what is happening in the north and every other place. Climate change is very important. Our environment is very important. What we laid a lot of emphasis is that let us protect what we have first.
I don't think food security is one of it?
No, food security is one of it, but I'm talking about the climate change. That is to say, you remember I was saying, let's engage ourselves. Let government not to be, allow government to be closer to the people. If we're talking about climate change and we're still throwing our trash in the gutters that's supposed to, the drainages that's supposed to protect us from flood, we're not helping one another. So in terms of climate change, we did mention a few things, but we do not lay a lot of emphasis on the global climate change. We're starting from us, which a lot of government or people in government has not been doing. Because if you want to match up with the rest of the world, you've got to start from inward outside. You don't start from outside inward, it's inward outside.
So can you tell us
in terms of food security, we have a very extensive and very comprehensive plan on food security, which boils down to agriculture. And the supply chain. We talked in our about the fact that people must be able to go to their farms first, which is, the security we're talking about. We're talking about agricultural communities. We talk about commodity boards, because all of these things are very important. When you go out there and you put a lot of effort on your farm, when it comes out, when the produce comes out, you should be properly compensated.
So now the question remains, what is the action plan on climate change from your political party?
The action plan is what I've explained to you. That our action, Nigeria as a state has signed some bilateral agreements, with the rest of the nations of the world. We have to look at that and review properly and bring it to the level that we can understand and we can participate actively. But climate change is not what happens in the global communities alone. It starts from here, from home.
Okay, so you mentioned security earlier, and
Yes.
we're going to that security question.
Yes.
And although security operations are covered, but we still need to talk about it.
Yes.
And in that regard, we would want to ask you if you can, in principle, tell us what exactly the structure you have. Your principle now, that's
Yes, I
Dr.
understand. When we talk about the party, the campaign, we're talking
so
about...
how do you intend to put to rest the security challenges and allay the fears of citizens living in those regions, those troubled regions?
Let me share some few core areas for us. You know that distinguished senator was the Minister of Defense. He knows what is needed. What are the things that is needed? Like I said, you start from ground zero sometimes, maybe not exactly ground zero. We are going to increase the personnel, the military personnel and the police personnel to 1 million from where we are now. I guess we have about 200 and something thousand or 300 and something thousand in the other, and of course the paramilitaries. Number one thing is we believe that all of the ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, we must put it to use. And it goes to community we're talking, agricultural community we're talking about, and some other things. Some of these ungoverned spaces that are supposed to be occupied by legitimate operations that are not. It could be industries, it could be manufacturing, it could be farms, and it could be housing estates. That's number one. But we felt that it is the political will that stays on top of the pyramid. That if the political will is there and is clear and you engage the communities, you handle your intelligence properly, and you allow synergy between all of the security personnel, we're going to do much better within a very short time. If you look at it. So that's what our plan is talking about.
We'll take you up on that as time
progresses.
Yes, we will. Yes, and so let's go into your internal politics now, your internal politics as in your party. There are speculations that your party is going through some internal crisis, and we hear that your principal is not really keen on resolving this brewing crisis. What exactly are the issues?
Well, it's very unfair to say that, for anyone to say that, because distinguished Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, when you talk about leadership, and leadership by example, I give it to him. And what does that mean? A leader that is objective, that is accessible, that wants to live by example, that can be mentored to thousands and millions of people, that has an open mind and that has open, hands, and that listens and wants to hear what you have to say. And if you have a superior argument, that's willing to go along with you. As far as the internal crisis, I do not think there is any internal crisis per se, and I will tell you why. In Bauchi State, for instance, we have a person that has gone against the principles of the party and was suspended. And then he will go out and use social media. Social media is very good. It can be very good, but it can also be very bad. And begin to come up with some nonsense on social media is not acceptable. So it's not that we are not willing. We want to the last person, to the last member of our party, we appreciate them, we listen to them. Like last Friday, my principal did a Zoom meeting, and we had a lot of people. If nothing else, let's talk to one another. Let's share ideas. There's nothing like internal struggles or internal fighting.
Okay. So there is this talk about NNPP not having structure in the Northeast. I mean, these are questions yes, these are questions that we need to ask, because these are things out there. You need to clarify. You need to give clarity to these, these questions.
Well, sometimes, just like I said, people just come up with some careless contents. All of the positions, from the president to the last person in the state assembly, we filled all those positions. Those are people, and those are people that are working for the party, and those are people working to win elections. Those are not ghosts. Now, the other aspect of it is that we are continuing our cross country. We've gone to every state but one, including FCT, and each one of that you need to come and see the crowd. You see, distinguished Senator Rabi Busako is not somebody that is media frenzy and believes that the people are the one that owns the voter's card. They will be the one to determine the next election. And we go from village to village, from township to township, not only the city center. We go by road.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier ghosts. And that word ghosts also came into play, in the same speculations and accusations. They said out of the 16-member executive committee, you only have 4 that are active members. How would you respond to that?
Active members of what?
Of your party.
Active? Are they talking about committees?
Yes.
That's not true. That's not. We have 12 committees. We have a group of senior special advisors. We have a group of heads of departments. Everybody is expected. Look, now we have few days to elections. We are not going to be, parambulating, if you will. All the committees are working. All the committees have their part to success, to mobilizing voters towards the elections. So if somebody is here and there and say he doesn't hear, he doesn't know, look, if you ask, even the Bible says you should ask, and it shall be given to you. So this is not the time for anybody to stay out there and start to complain. This is the time that we all need to roll up our sleeves and mobilize, like our principal is mobilizing. As I'm speaking to you, he's on his way to Ogbomoso. People are waiting for him. What time is it? About 10 o'clock? People are waiting for him in Ogbomoso in Oyo State. So if you have people sitting down there since 6, 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock and waiting for their leader, so what else do you expect?
Okay, so how do you react to that alleged the camp of members, and this is amounting to 620,000.
Where do they get? How many people are in Bauchi State? How many people
across board?
No. Where do they get the number? You see, the problem is that sometimes the media.
I'm glad you hear of this.
We know those people. How many people resides in Bauchi State? I didn't say the city of Bauchi. And then you come, you say 2 million, you say 600, you say all kind of crazy numbers. You know what I say? Let them, if they have something to offer Nigeria, let them get to work and get off their lazy ass and stop telling people, you repeating the same old news. Nigerians, on a serious note, we need a focused leadership. We need someone who understands what's going on the street. We're at the point that we need a very serious-minded person who is capable and who has the capacity to lead this nation. It is not a joke. It is not a joke by any means. So what I am saying is that the media themselves, instead of them to investigate a little further, you read on social media like I read, you should have more information than I as an ordinary person. And I'm not trying to put it on you. And when they see, you know that terrible things, trends, terrible things. If you post serious information out there, go and watch how many people will read that.
That's the reason why you're here.
Exactly.
To also debunk,
yes.
debunk some of these allegations.
Yes.
And one other very, very worrisome accusation that has been made is that your principal is not very, very keen on, being number one citizen. He's just using that as a bargaining chip, to...
I will use his word. It's absolute nonsense. That's what he said.
That's how he responded to that.
On one of your sister stations, he said it's absolute nonsense. And I believe it's absolute nonsense. And I'll tell you what. There is no party or candidate that has gone across Nigeria like we did. We've gone almost 500 local government. Just look, as an individual, just imagine what it takes to plan, to go, to come out of it. We've gone to places that say, oh, for security issues, you can't go in there. We went and we came out. You understand? Then number two, my principal took his time. We sat down together, about 12 of us. We put down the blueprint. He read it line by line, paragraph by paragraph. That is participation. That's leadership by example. So nobody wrote that document for him. We wrote it together. Of course, somebody had to lead, the team. Now, apart from that, if you look at how much he has invested in terms of money, in terms of resources, in terms of people, in terms of network, I mean, who does that for a joke?
On a final note, if peradventure your principal doesn't really, emerge as number one, are there plans to merge with other parties? Are there prospects?
Look, our focus is to win this election, and we are going to win it on the first try. On the first basis, and we are going to, at the first time, the first phase, the first stage, whatever you want to call it, we are determined, we are focused, we are concentrating. Nigeria needs a leadership that believes in fairness and justice, a leader that is willing to understand and take their interest and say, look, I want to be selfless. I want to live for what I believe in.
So no plans for merger?
Look, we don't have any talks of merger. We don't have any plans for merger. We have plans to win this on the first instance. And
Great.
That's it.
And on that note, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
All right.
The ballot will be back.
Thank you.
And as is the tradition on the ballot, Honorable Folashade Aliyu will be presented with 4 key national targets, with each offering 3 options of to be or not to be. And this is within a timeline of the 4 years that is, carved out for any number one citizen who becomes the president. So, in accordance with the Constitution, of course. So, the options captured in the context of this boxes are realistic. So, you tick: is it realistic? Is it unrealistic? Undecided? And otherwise. So, let's begin. And the first one will be on energy sufficiency. Do you think that is realistic, unrealistic, or?
It is realistic.
Realistic, okay. And so we'll move on to the next one. This is really quick. This is the second one now is uninterrupted power supply. Do you think you can achieve it within the next 4 years if you're elected?
Using alternative energy realistic.
Realistic.
Yes.
Great. And then third question is ending insurgency and banditry.
Very realistic.
Very real.
Very
I like that that qualifier.
Very, yes.
And the final one is a double-digit GDP growth.
It is realistic.
It is realistic.
If you put the right people in the right places, it is realistic.
That's a conditional one there.
As we are prepared to put the right people in the right places, it is very realistic.
Okay, so on that note, I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much for
Thank you so much for coming on the ballot tonight. I would like to also thank everyone out there who has listened to the National Campaign Secretary for the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP. Thank you so much for coming on the ballot.
If I can say a thing,
yes.
I want to say thank you for the voters' awareness and thank you for the party's participation. We need it, and the time is now. And everybody should go and do their civic duty.
Okay, great.
Thank you for having
me. And the clock is ticking. We do hope that you're counting down with us here on the ballot as the excitement builds towards February 25, which of course is the D-Day for the presidential elections. Tomorrow night is another day. for the ballot, and I'll be here, God willing, with another guest and another political party to discuss their plans for Nigeria. I am Fekla Wilkie. It's been a pleasure. Bye for now.